Moving on to our next speaker, we have Division Director of Netmarble here, Zehra. And hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, fine. How are you? How is
I'm
it?
very.
How is everything?
It's very good. It's very good. Well, miss traveling, but trying to do what we can in these circumstances.
Yes, same here. Same
Where are
here.
you based?
We're based in Istanbul, but currently I'm in a different city because of the summer. We're still working from home, so we're a little bit more free for the places that we choose to work. So I'm in a good place for the summer.
Well, I don't know. Turkey sounds pretty good place for the summer, to be honest. I was going to go. Yeah.
But currently it's really very hot for the couple of days. But hopefully for next few days it will be a little bit better.
All
But
right.
we're
Okay.
all maintaining and we're all adjusting with everything going around. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Before I let you start your presentation, I would like to invite you to play a little game with me that I've been playing with all the speakers. The current score is
Okay.
1-1-1. One speakers, one to me. So it's a tight right now, and it's going to be very easy. I'm going to give you a fact about Shenzhen, and you tell me whether it's true or false. Okay?
Okay.
But you are lucky because it's super simple. I'm sure you know this. Okay, so the fact is that Shenzhen is the hometown of Tencent. Is that true or false?
Oh. Yeah, it's true.
And you are correct, and the point goes to you. Thank you very much. That was great. Okay, now let's move to more serious stuff. And over to you, your time. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this is Zehra Tugce from Netmarble EMEA. We are one branch of the Netmarble Corporation, Korean Corporation. I'm the division director there. I'm responsible for Hypercasual Publishing. And today I will talk to you about a little bit about Netmarble, what Netmarble stands for in gaming industry. And then afterwards, what Hypercasual is, very briefly. Then how we understand hypercasual and what we want to do with hypercasual and what we can offer to all indie developers. Yes, I will go through very briefly on them, and I can have any kind of question after the session. So please feel free to ask anything that comes into your mind. Oh, okay. Yes. Netmarble, it was founded in 2000. I'm actually a very new member of the Netmarble company. It's just been like 10 months that I've joined the company. But I was very impressed by the history of Netmarble. They were founded in 2000, and it was PC and mobile only company up until 2013. It was the top 3 publisher in Korea by the end of 2006. And with the mobile revolution, it was one of the companies that has understood mobile in the very early stages. So they switched to transform to mobile very early. It was a very interesting and disruptive but very effective period, making Netmarble grossing #1 in Korean region. So it was a very successful period. So we can say that Netmarble is a disruptive company in its industry. In 2016, there was Marvel Future Fight with very successful IPs, Seven Knights, and then afterwards Lineage 2, one of the best RPG games in the category. We also acquired Gem City in US and Kabam as well. Increasing our global expansion. And in 2017, by the end of 2017, there was this IPO, very successful IPO. And very recently, we have 2020 Q2 results, which were very successful. Shareholders were happy. And in the recent 2 years, we had very successful launches in our PG category. And also, we had King of Fighters All-Star, 7 Deadly Sins, Stone Age World very recently. It's a pet collection game. It's a very cute game to play. And Fishing Strike is it's a beautiful game for fishing lovers. And also Magic Mana Strike was one of the games that we have published very recently. So we had this global expansion, and it's like 6,000 employees all around the world with 8 offices. And I'm responsible for Netmarble, EMEA, and Turkey. But we're the only branch of Netmarble that's doing global publishing of hyper-casual games. So no other branch of Netmarble is interested in hyper-casual, and not meaning in interested terms, but we are the only ones doing the operations for hyper-casual business. So Netmarble is a disruptive company, and there's this mobile's latest disruption in gaming industry, which we call hyper-casual. Very briefly, what hyper-casual is, they're very snackable, one-finger rules all, satisfactory, visually very, very stimulating and satisfying, with very minimalistic UI and design, very quick, easy games that you can play with. The core importance of these games is the player is very satisfied after every play, so they're very sticky. But they have a lifetime, they have a shelf time, but it's very easy to produce. So hyper-casual did something very interesting in the industry, which we call it actually a gateway. Here we can see it in the numbers. These numbers are from 2019. Of all the total gamers in the industry, we have like 660 million gamers playing hyper-casual games. Hyper-casual games, are mostly monetized with advertising, so we don't have in-app purchases in them. So it's a very easy way actually to become a gamer. It's a gateway to become a buying and paying gamer as well, which we can see in the number very well. It's 101 million of those all new gamers in the industry are from hyper-casual gamers. So we understand that hyper-casual can be a starting point for every new gamer, for every genre. So that's what we saw in hyper-casual actually. So we gave the importance that it needs and it requires, and we created our own vision around it, which I will tell you briefly in the following slides. Hyper-casual, why is it so simple? Because it has a very accessible core gameplay, which is not easy in terms of idea generation actually. But once you get this very easy gameplay idea, with even very simplified or even no meta game, you can have the game design. The most important thing is in hyper-casual is the first time user experience. It needs to be very clear and very easily understood by all new gamers, because it needs to have mass appeal. If you want something to be understood in the masses, it really needs to be very easily understood in the first sight. And production times are very low in hyper-casual, which makes it very advantageous. And we have shorter soft launch durations. So any game can go from ideation phase to grand launch phase in like 8 weeks or 10 weeks, which is a very short time considering the industry averages. And monetization is mostly for in-app advertising, which gives the developer the advantage to earn money from the player no matter what. You don't need to convince the player to buy anything, because you can just simply offer a reward instead of a purchase, a rewarded ad, and then the game is monetized. So it has very lucrative and very advantageous points that can be amplified with combining with other genres in the gaming industry. So we saw this, and since Netmarble is a game culture company, we are all about community. We're all about gamers having fun, and gaming experience is very important for Netmarble. So we created this Hypercasual 2.0 vision, which is basically, since we are the masters of RPG, why not use this mastery in hyper-casual publishing, in hyper-casual game development? So we wanted to combine the best features of RPG and the best features of hyper-casual together to form a different kind of genre. And it's not always easy, because RPGs are there, not in terms of complicated, but they're they have this depth and richness, which is not easy to simplify. It's a very important and challenging task, but we are up for the task and we're working on it. And we have some titles that will be coming in the very near future. Yes, with every different story and every different character and every different quest, there is something that can be added in a hyper-casual mechanism. So it's really very interesting and fun in order to create something new out of it. So we are working very deeply in this process. Telling you about the process, how it works. The hypercasual has this very easy core gameplay, where in the RPG it's a mid or hardcore gameplay. It's not easy to understand in the first place. You need to be exploring into the game, and you have to invest a lot of time. Where in hypercasual there is no or very simple meta, we have in RPG games a very rich meta, which makes the game very high retention rates in 30, 60, 180 days. Hypercasuals have very low retentions, where RPGs have very high retention. The goal is to have a very high retention. So high retention yields to low LTV, and also high retention creates very high LTVs. Whereas hypercasual is monetizing in-app advertising, we have in-app purchase and most importantly subscription models in RPG games. So when we combine them together, we have this very easy core gameplay. It's a core easy gameplay, which can have a rich meta integrated to it in phases, which would cause a higher retention, a higher LTV, and a subscription, a monetization model, a hybrid monetization model, which consists of in-app advertising, in-app purchase, and subscription models, which will make almost all gamers happy, no matter what segment they're in. So the most important thing that we're looking for in this hybrid model in Hypercasual 2.0 is the low CPI. We need to have a low CPI in order to have as much as iteration as we can in order to develop the game in the short term that we aim to develop. So, and of course, they need to be low maintenance, whereas RPG games, they require very big live operation teams. So combining these together, we have this easy to play, but rich in depth with high retention games that don't require very much maintenance, that can be easily maintained and creates a great margin in terms of profit. And also, for the developers, the profit side is might be very important, but also for the people who play the game, it's even if they're a new gamer, very new beginner, or a gamer of old, then they would have the same reaction to the game, and it would be satisfying for them. So that's what we are after. Also, hypercasual in stuff, it's also transforming because there's this very high competitive market. In this very high competitive market, every developer wants to develop a game, no matter what, that would stick to the gamer longer than the hypercasual is. So gaming experience changes. Gamers now look for a little bit more depth. They want it to be easy, but they want richness as well. Production cycles just in parallel change. Now it's not that much short. We have 8 weeks, 10 weeks, almost 3 months of production cycles. And monetization has to be a mix. It's no longer in-app advertising. So it's, first of all, the hypercasual was called this arbitrage business, but now it's changing. It is going to have a very good mix of in-app advertising and in-app purchase. And KPIs are changing. North Star KPIs are changing for hypercasual as well as it transforms into something new. And how does Netmarble collaborate with indie developers? We have this program. We used to have a lot of game jams. We used to have a lot of get-togethers, but it was before the pandemic period, of course. But right now we are having online gatherings and online training sessions, and also we have this Hyper Hits project. In this Hyper Hits project, we provide all kinds of consultancy and marketing support and publisher support to the studios that we're working with. We have our publishing team. When we're working with a studio, we have a dedicated manager. We have very detailed reports, very detailed insights in how the gamers behave in the game. We have a quick and fast track testing process. where we want to give as much as feedback as we can to the developer in order to develop the game to the next phase, and to make sure that if we're not going on with the game, that it's a drop, definitely. And for the idea generation, we have another separate team that follows trends in terms of social media, in terms of gaming, in terms of popular culture. So we combine them all together, and we support our studios with different idea generating reports that they can use in order to develop new games. We have trainings, and we have access to our tools, so we can answer any question. And in game design, we have an in-house game designer, which we saw is a must, especially when you're trying to develop something, not just hyper-casual, but also hyper-casual 2.0 with RPG features. So we have a in-house game designer, we have in-house developers in order to answer all the questions that the developers need. They're all very experienced developers in terms of Unity. And also some of our exclusive studios are also on board to support other indie studios. So we have this game design lab that supports the studios. And for KPI improvements, we work very closely with our studios. We give them direction in order to have higher LTVs with high retentions from our know-how of RPG game development. And also we have a separate team for monetization and user acquisition. On monetization side, we have a separate team that's very much experienced especially in technical parts of the monetization. And in game design also supports monetization in terms of positioning rewarded ads inside integrated with the game experience. And user acquisition team has already proven themselves in a lot of games, a lot of money-making games actually. So this is what we call Hyper Hits projects. All developers are, of course, invited in this Hyper Hits project to work with us to have their next hit with us. Yeah, that would be all from me today. So if you have your games, casual, hyper casual, any kind of game or any kind of question, please feel free to ask, and feel free to connect to us in publishing at netmarble.com. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Zehra. That was interesting. And we have a few questions for you. So the first question is now the right time to join hyper casual, or maybe it's a little bit late? What do you think?
I think it's never late to join hyper casual, especially if you have a direction to move forward to, because yeah, there are a lot of discussions telling that hyper casual end? No, it's never going to end, because smartphones will increase in terms of penetration. There will be always newcomers, and people are very interested in having themselves entertained in their phones. So hyper casual will not end. It's never too late to understand the dynamics of hyper casual, but in terms of business and money making, you have to know how to use hyper casual. So that's why we're not looking after a hyper casual hit. We're looking for the right hit that we can create with hyper casual and RPG genres together. So that will create a gateway for new RPG gamers, mid-core and hardcore.
Thank you. That was actually something about my next question. So you're looking for indie teams, for developer teams. When is the best time to approach you? When they already have a working prototype, or when they have an idea, or it's just an experienced team that is ready to work under your supervision? What's the best time and the best team?
And that would be all, because Netmarble tries to communicate with all indie developers. We are not just trying to find the next hit, but we are also in the business of having close relationship with all kinds of developers. So, of course, it's always better to have a prototype, but we are also working with ideas as well. In-house, we have teams that can create ideas into videos very quickly to be tested for mass appeal. So if you have an idea, even just an idea, and if you have a little bit of an art direction and a little bit of a gamification version of the idea, then we can turn it very quickly to a video and then test it and understand if it has a mass appeal or not, and then move forward from there. And we give support in all terms. If you don't have a developer team, we can find a developer for you, or we can support inside, or we can just work with the idea. There are a lot of different versions of our agreements. So, and we want to work with indie developers of all kinds of experience. We have different teams working with them. We can also do like some growth management to very, very new studios. And also, if you have a game that's finished and everything is said, you have already done some certain testing and you want to publish it massively and globally, then we're working with them as well. So all kinds of studios, no matter where their idea is, what stage their idea is, are free to call us, and we'll definitely get back to them with the right answer.
Okay, okay, that sounds really good. We have a few more questions from developers.
Sure.
So, well, the comment is that Hypercasual 2.0 looks almost too good to be true. That's what our viewers say. I would agree. Yeah, and they say like it would be great to see examples. So the next question is, do you have any published Hypercasual 2.0 games?
Not yet, but we have one in the pipeline. It's very close. The important, yeah, it's yes, of course, it sounds too good to be true, but it is true. For instance, when you consider Arturo, Arturo is kind of a hyper-casual 2.0. It's a very core gameplay with very, very easy mechanics and very easy controls, but it has a very rich meta around it. So, but yes, there are not many examples because it's really not that easy. It's challenging to make something very rich into something very simple. So, but we have something on the pipeline, and it's all about trying to find the right combination. Because RPG, when we say RPG features, there are a lot of RPG features that you need to consider, but you need to find the right theme with the right feature combination, then you can find what it works. So it's always better to keep it simple in the first place and then move forward from it. And we have hopefully one title coming up very soon. And we also have one hyper-casual idle an RPG kind of game that is very successful right now in China, which is called City Bus. And so very soon you will hear more of that.
Okay, thank you. We have a couple more questions, but if you can come to the WN Hub and answer them in writing, that would be great. And
Sure.
before we finish, like the very last question for me, it's like maybe more like an observation. So right now we're talking about hyper casual games and mid-core hardcore games, right? But it looks like we're forgetting about casual games, because they used to be the games that were easy to start and they were pretty deep, and you know, they didn't have any meta games before that, and they were called simply casual. What happened to that
yeah, that's
term?
a very good question. That's a very good question. It's and it's a very good observation, which I had when I first started working in the gaming industry, and I'm a very casual, very old casual player. I played all casual games, all casual games, and I love casual games. But hyper casual is actually differs in terms of monetization, and in terms it's not that different than casual, but it's again very much simpler than casual games, because even a casual game requires your commitment in terms of time and in terms of thinking. For instance, when you think of a puzzle, you are in the puzzle, but in hyper casual games it's more like the time that you're spending without thinking. I don't want to say that you don't need to think when you're playing in a hyper casual game, but in hyper casual game, the thing that the gamer invests is never money. But when you're playing casual games, in some place you have to invest in money as well. You have to do a purchase to move forward, or you have to grind a lot. But in hyper casual, it's not the case.
But you know, like Yeah, I'm a casual player myself as well, and I like a few hyper casual games. And your observation was really good that the monetization type is different. So me, as a as an experienced casual player, I'm always looking for a button. Okay, let me pay, please, and then I will play without any ads. Let me do this. Like, take my money. And sometimes it's not possible, and it's a little frustrating, to be honest, right?
Yeah, but yeah, that's why now a lot of games in hyper casual have this no ads option, because the gamer doesn't want to watch ads. If the gameplay is entertaining, I really don't want to see any ads, and I want to pay, and I want to play simultaneously with no interruptions. So now there are a lot of games with no ads, and also games with subscription models. So that's why hyper casual is also transforming. The pace is different in hyper casual and casual. Hyper casual is a little bit more faster than casual games in terms of progress. But yes, the monetization model will change in hyper casual because of players like us, you and me.
Okay. Zara, thank you so much for an
Yeah.
interesting conversation and presentation. I already saw your colleagues joined the conversation in the chat, and it would be great if you go there as well. Have a
Can you
nice
see
day.
what it has? Is it possible? It's
Sorry?
in chat.
Yes, in the chat next to the lecture window on the WN Hub. Yes.
Okay, great.
All right. So have a nice rest of the summer.
Thank you very much. You too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And bye.